Hey everyone, and welcome to a very special Pokemon Productions video. Today is a double celebration. Not only am I celebrating 3 years on YouTube, but I'm also celebrating hitting 300 subscribers. So before I tell you what I'm going to be reviewing tonight, I just want to say thank you so much for staying with me throughout these 3 years, and thanks for helping me hit 300. 300 subscribers in 3 years. How coincidental is that? So today, to mark the occasion, I thought what better game to review than possibly one of the best superhero games ever made. Marvel's Spider-Man. I have been wanting to talk about this game for a long time, and I thought what better time than right now. As you can see, I have it on the PS4, because that's when it was first released, and I have the Game of the Year edition, coming with the City That Never Sleeps DLC. And let's take a look at the back of the box. Be greater. Okay, so the back of the box isn't really doing that much for it. At least the reviews are there, though. A Spectacular Adventure, IGN. 5 stars, Metro. So basically, in the context of this game, Spider-Man has been around for 8 years. And you actually start the game off by going after Wilson Fisk, otherwise known as the Kingpin. And then once he's locked up, we get this whole other story with this gang called the Demons that can harness a sort of mystical energy. And they have and it turns out Martin Lee, one of Peter's friends and closest colleagues at the Feast Shelter, which is a shelter for the homeless, he has some sort of connection with them. Because it turns out, he was told ghost stories about the demons when he was a child. And of course, we also get to see a lot of Peter and MJ as well, as in Mary Jane Watson. In fact, we even get to play as Mary Jane Watson in a few stealth segments in the game, which I will admit can get a bit tedious, but I find them basically okay. Now, if I was to say this game is probably the best Marvel game ever made, I wouldn't be lying. This really is the best Marvel game ever made. I absolutely love it to bits, and it's up there with the Batman Arkham series as one of my favorite superhero games ever made. So much so that I can't wait for when Marvel Spider-Man 2 drops this year. So anyway, basically, Peter and MJ work together to unravel the mystery of the demons. And we also get to see Miles Morales for the first time. Well, not sure if it's the first time in a video game, but yeah, in the first time in this universe. Anywho, and for those of you who aren't aware, Miles Morales is basically another Spider-Man, or at least he isn't yet in this game. You may remember him from stuff like the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, or the Into the Spider-Verse movie, on the upcoming sequel Across the Spider-Verse. And you also get to play as him in a few stealth segments as well. And you basically fight all the different villains as well, like Martin Lee's villain name, Mr. Negative. And we've also got Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, and even we get to see Dr. Octopus. And I have to admit, this version of Dr. Octopus is one of the most tragic villains I've ever seen. Because Peter actually worked alongside Otto Octavius working on prosthetics. And it turns out, and they end up creating this neural interface that helps them control these arms, like these big metal octopus arms. But they end up affecting Otto's brain and his personality. So he ends up becoming a monster hell-bent on destroying Norman Osborn, who in this game is actually the mayor of New York. Yeah, pretty much most people in this game have a bit of a beef with Norman. And things do get more complicated once Silver Sable and Sable International get involved. Eventually Doc Ock releases something called the Devil's Breath, which Oscorp was developing to be a cure for any genetic diseases, like it could cure asthma, it could cure Huntington's chorea, it could cure basically any genetic disorder, any any malformity, anything. But it didn't work that way. In Peter Parker's words, in trying to repair the body, it instead tears it apart. And Otto basically unleashes that on New York, basically creating a citywide epidemic. Not too similar. Well, not too unfamiliar with how we were in 2020. Anyway, and so the hunt's on for an anti-serum, and you've got the Sinister Six to worry about. And it's honestly, and this game not only provides one of the best superhero games ever made, but also one of the best Spider-Man stories ever made, and possibly one of the most heartfelt. It's very heartfelt. Honestly, and that's bolstered by the insane voice acting. Spider-Man himself is voiced by the one and only Yuri Lowenthal. For those of you who grew up watching Cartoon Network, you'll know that Yuri Lowenthal voiced the teenage Ben Tennyson in Ben 10 Alien Force, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, and Ben 10 Omniverse. But here, he voices Spider-Man. And I have to admit that this game has one of his best voice performances I've seen. I mean, he just shows so much emotion in his lines, especially towards the end of the game. He showed a lot more emotion than he did during his time as Ben Tennyson. And I have to admit, that's actually really cool. It's nice to see, we get to see his acting range, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in store for him when Marvel Spider-Man 2 comes out. Sorry. Anyway, and the combat is pretty good. The web swinging is very fast and smooth and fluid. The combat's very fluid as well, like I said, similar to the Arkham games. And there's all these different side missions you could take on, like collecting all the backpacks, taking photos of the landmarks, solving the Black Cat stakeouts, finding pigeons for a close friend, or even taking down like enemy bases like Fisk hideouts, Riker's prisoner camps, demon warehouses, and Sable bases. It's honestly really good. And the game even gets better with the City That Never Sleeps campaign, which lets you take on villains like Black Cats and Hammerhead. It's basically this whole this gang war thing at the Margia. And there's even more side missions as well, like finding hidden paintings and completing Screwball challenges. Yeah, Screwball is a new villain in this game. She's basically this annoying internet celebrity who likes to put people in danger in order to get clicks. But yeah, if you guys want a decent superhero experience on a decent console, then I say get this. If you have a PS4, get the game. But if you have a PS5, then you can get the PS5 version. I don't think I'll be getting the PS5 version anytime soon. I have a perfectly good PS4 version, and it's just amazing. It's just an amazing game, and I honestly couldn't have thought of a better game to talk about for my third YouTube anniversary and for my 300 subscriber special. So thank you all for joining me on this very special occasion, and I will see you all very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.